Chapter 19 The Little Guy. History records that cat dynasties go back to the pharaohs. Maybe they do in Egypt, but not around pot-shot towers. A second generation is about all that Lucy and I can keep track of, and we were sure of that only last week when Daniel Boone brought his son home. Readers of the pot-shot may remember Mr. Boone, the tomcat, scourge of Grosse Ile, and sire of most island kittens. His son's arrival was not without interest. An erect and lashing tail attached to something more than a kitten, but less than a full-grown cat, suddenly marched in. Lucy let out a shriek. "Daniel Boone, what happened? You've shrunk." Then Mr. Boone himself followed. His son was such a dead ringer in miniature that we immediately christened him the Little Guy. He was wild as a bumblebee and savage as a hornet. By my hunch, he was born under the same culvert as his dad, foraged for the same beetle and field mouse diet, and he learned to take complete care of himself just as early in the game. To make friends, I offered him a handful of raw meat. He made a grab for it and bit right through my thumb, as had his dad before him, and got knocked just as far for so doing. Nice animal abuse. Then Mr. Boone took over. The Little Guy got his first lesson in geography. A feline conducted tour of the house. They went from room to room, from cellar to garret. And don't tell me cats can't talk, said the old man. This is the library. You got to behave in here. Purr, this is the kitchen. The eats come from here. Grrr, hissed. See that hole? A rat tried to come in here last fall. Watch it. The Little Guy learned fast. Intensely curious, he got into everything. He tangled with the dogs and made his peace. He decided my bed was the place to sleep nights and tried to chase him off. He taught his dad to play, something Mr. Boone had never learned. To a mere human, their romps looked like a mutual attempt at mayhem and usually ended by the old man letting go a sock that knocked his son end over end, yowling for mercy. Their best act was in the kitchen, around the big center table. Mr. Boone had long had a chair there. Mostly he caulked off in it, twitching and jerking in the cat's dream of chase and conquest, but only until Lucy came in to do some cooking. Then he sat up, eyes, ears, and nose following her every move. Something might come his way. The Little Guy soon demanded his chair and got it, with the book in its seat so that when he sat up, his head would reach the tabletop too. Now both are there every afternoon, waiting for their double cut of manna. I don't blame them. Where is a grander place to be than in a kitchen on a fall afternoon? A wood fire snapping and crackling in the range, something savory stewing on its top or roasting in the oven. Trees and shrubs, a blaze of color through the windows. Cats and men grow sleek and fat together. Right now, Lucy is working up a dish guaranteed to put a couple of pounds on both of us. It's chicken and rice with green peppers. Here's her recipe. Get a nice plump hen, about 4 pounds. Thank heavens for nice plump hens. Cut the chicken into as many pieces as it will go. Use it all, disjointing legs and wings, having the breast and back. If there are globules of fat in the interior, remove them and snip them small. Now get a fresh green pepper from the garden or market. Seed it, cut away the inside ribs, and snip it into small pieces. Lucy uses a pair of sharp kitchen shears for all this snipping. It saves a lot of time and elbow grease. Cover the bottom of an open baking pan with the chicken and pepper pieces, leaving a little space around the edges of the pan. Into this space, spread thinly and evenly a cup of raw rice. Gently pour in a quart of milk. Salt and pepper liberally and dot the top with the cut up pieces of chicken fat. If you haven't fat enough, use little dabs of butter. Now put it into a very slow oven, about 250 degrees. Watch it. It burns easily and cook for 2 hours. The last half hour, you'll probably have to add another pint of milk. Rice is very thirsty. The finished dish is brown and golden on top, creamy and tender inside. Serve it right out of the baking pan. And if you like, slice a little raw onion and put it on top before it goes into the oven. But only the thinnest of shavings, and very few of them. The leavings, if any, go to Daniel Boone and Son, who purr contentedly. How this son and her heir business will eventually work out, I don't know. Right now it's swell. Maybe it's even prophetic. One day Mr. Boone's sins are sure to catch up with him. May that day be distant enough so that when the little guy finally takes over, we'll have to rename him Big Fellow. And that's from Pot Shots from the Grosse Ile Kitchen. From a Grosse Ile Kitchen by Lucy and Sidney Corbett. I think it's 1945. 1947.